We know that these tariffs kicked in over the weekend. They are as high as over 200%. We heard from Treasury Wines. Actually, we're continuing to hear from them at the moment about how they're planning to try and pivot their business away from China to limit the damage. What's the impact that you see on your business, and how do you move forward from here?
Yeah, this will be devastating, not only for our family business, Taylor's Wines, but for the entire Australian wine industry, where we've relied on this market. It's our largest by far, of $1.2 billion worth of trade, 40% of all exports. So, yeah, we're going to have to be very tactical. We're going to have to try to repivot, and you just don't turn on these markets overnight. We've been developing the Chinese market for over 25 years, and now we've got to look to the rest of Asia, North America and Europe to try to allocate some of the wine that we were hoping to sell over in China, especially for the important festive Chinese New Year.
Mitchell, there's been some criticism from some parties about the way that the Australian government has approached its relationship with China, that it's sort of continued to poke the bear or the dragon, if you will, sticking its neck out, calling for that investigation into the origins of the pandemic. Does that anger you? Do you think that things could have been handled more diplomatically, and now it's really industries like the wine industry and family-owned businesses like yours that are kind of suffering the consequences of what some say is a poorly managed relationship?
Yeah, at times I feel, we support the government on our sovereignty and issues we have to do, but at times it's the respect and the developing of the relationship. A lot of this could probably be been done behind closed doors. I really feel we've got to be long-term and strategic, respect China for, building the relationship and really keeping trade separate to, some of these other international security issues. And particularly, I think the whole world would like to know, where the coronavirus originated, but it's probably up to the whole world, to get together and, work it out as a group, and not have Australia, as you say, go one off and, talk about these issues, in front of the media prior to, doing it in a more collaborative, respectful way.
Having been in China for over 2 decades, have you seen China-Australia ties this low?
No, I haven't. And look, the Chinese people, they love the quality of our wines. They love participating, enjoying them with food. And really, I feel sorry for the Chinese there. It's the regime that are coming down very strong. But our friends over there, where we have built great relationships, are really wanting to enjoy more quality Australian wines. So, yeah, it is upsetting to see, after all the good work that we've done, to see the relationships, starting to get a little bit fragile as they have been. So we're hoping that common sense will be put forward, that they'll look at the questionnaires. This is a temporary 10-day duty they've put on, but we really appeal to the regime to really look at the data, because the irony about it is that we're not dumping wine at all in this market. It's actually our top quality premium wines from our Clare Valley winery that are really going through the roof, and it's not at the dumping level at all.
So who are you talking to in China right now?
What we've got happening at the moment in China is we've got 2 containers we're trying to get through customs there, and we've got another 4 on the way on the boat, but we're literally going to pull them off the boat in Singapore and return them back to our winery. So, yeah, we're hoping that things dramatically improve, but with this news that came out on Friday, things are not looking promising on the short to long term.
Mitchell, I want to throw up a chart for the benefit mostly of our viewers, showing there's just a general decline that we've seen in Chinese wine consumption, right? The Chinese wine imports this year are actually on track to fall to a 6-year low, perhaps not entirely unexpected given the impact of COVID that's had on consumer sentiment. But I am wondering, the problem is you talk about kind of diversifying into different markets. There's no market at the moment that can replace the consumer base and the demographics of China, right? So what are some of the other markets that you could potentially develop relationships with now?
Yeah, that's right, because China is our largest. Daylight comes second, and then we've got the United States take about a third of what China do, about $400 million worth of wine, and also the UK. So we could build those markets up. The rest of Asia, there are some high duties in other parts of Asia, not as much as 212%, but we need to work with building better trading relationships there. So there's some opportunities there, but these take a long time. And we had an excellent export and regional support package of $50 million that will finish in June. So we need our government to help the Australian wine industry to continually invest in marketing in some of these key exciting markets. The US is actually the largest global wine market in the world, but they don't know anything about the quality of Australian wine at the top end. So we really need to get that message through into such an important market.
Mitchell, what would you like to see from the government in terms of providing more support for the industry at a time where clearly the next few months, probably the next year, it's going to be a struggle?
Yeah, it will be a big struggle. So we need them to help us in our efforts as an industry to go into these key markets. We need them to develop these relationships, open the doors for us, but we are the highest taxed wine producing country in the world. So we do need a continuation of the export and marketing package that we had over the last 4 years to roll on so that, we can afford to do great Australian wine promotions in markets like Canada, Japan, United States, and also in the very important markets of Europe, and particularly with the new UK-Australian wine treaty coming through with the trade agreement. We really need some focus in there so that we can continue to grow these markets and really highlight to the world that not only does Australia make some of the best value wines in the world, but we actually win major awards and actually have some of the highest quality wines globally, which is an exciting thing for us to continue to grow on.
To your point, while the tariffs are in place, what's the risk of the broader Australian wines profile that has been built over decades of being just present in the Chinese market, of that being threatened?
Yeah, that's right, because we've invested a lot in our education, the quality, the detail of our regions within the Chinese market, and we really need to continue to do that good work in other markets. We still want China to come on the journey with us, because we feel the Chinese people have already got a great love and appetite to explore more and more of the quality wines of Australia. So we really need that message to continue to happen in that part of the world and also in some of the other exciting export markets.
Mitchell, and really 2020 and part of 2019 has also really not been great for the industry, right? We had the bushfires, which we thought at that time was potentially the biggest event of 2020, and then you have COVID-19 as well.
Yeah, it's been a hellish year. We've had drought where we are in the Clare Valley for 2 to 3 years. Then we had smoke taint to deal with. We had to even reject some of the fruit due to that. And then, 2020 is a year that just keeps giving. Then we had all our lovely restaurants and duty-free areas where we sell our wines all disrupted, all the hotels. And now, just as we're starting to get in recovery mode, we can see the drought starting to break where we are in the Clare Valley, and then to have our biggest market to have a 212% duty slapped on us. It's been quite quite a difficult year, but we're certainly looking for, to get through 2020 and look for some positive news on the horizon.